Good morning and welcome to all of you. Hopefully you are having a wonderful day 20. I mean, how could you not? It's still pretty early in the morning, actually. So today, first of all, before I get into that, I just want to remind you, like I did yesterday, that if you have enjoyed this 21 days, to maybe keep an eye out for my new class that'll be coming up at the end of February. That is called... all right, what's the name? It's escaping me because I'm reaching for my little abstracts. It's called Come Away, and it's based on a devotional book, and we do abstracts. These are my kind of my prototypes for my days, and it's all kinds of abstracts. You know, we do a little collaging and stenciling and just soaking in the Lord. So just super, super fun. Today we're going to be talking about, we're going to be illustrating Psalm 37, verses 3 and 4. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And of course, it goes on with more good news. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice as the noonday. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. And the parts that really, of course, jumped out at me were verses 3 and 4. Trust in the Lord and do good. I started writing over here. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And this morning we're going to actually attempt to do a picture of a lady. I do have Jessel on here, but I don't have any other background on here. So I'm gonna pull a pencil that's just a little bit thinner and lighter to just put in my initial lines. And what I want to do is just a close-up picture of a lady who's delighting herself in the Lord. And the tricky part about that is actually I kind of want her to look up. So that in general is a little bit harder to do, and in sketching the ladies I actually have a whole section on doing faces, but we will just try and do a quick one here. Of course, I want her eyes to kind of go up, so I'm going to draw a line up there, and it will help if her chin appears to go up slightly too. That'll give her that general look. And her eyes will be, my lady's eyes are always pretty far up. Actually, this is down a little bit further than I usually do, and it's a little more whimsical rather than realistic. Now, it's important to me that I get them somewhat the right size. They don't have to be exactly the right size. And again, the lower part of her eye is going to look up, and that's what is making her eye look up, and then her iris. And then I'll put her eyebrow, just a little hint of an eyebrow up there. And we'll erase a little bit of this line here and redo that. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of double check myself and see if those eyes are about the same size. And this one is considerably less. Now it doesn't, she's kind of looking to the side a little bit, so it doesn't have to be quite as large, but it was substantially smaller. And this is a sketch, remember, it doesn't have to be exact. I'm going more for energy and her general look. Now that whole circle of her iris shouldn't fit in her eye because it extends. That would make her beady-eyed. Let me just put it that way. All right, so there she is, and then I'm just going to do an ever so slight line for her nose, and her mouth is also going to be up a a little bit. And I want her to be delighting in the Lord. And I don't want her to have like kind of a silly grin, just a little bit of a hint of a smile. And then the fun part is always doing the hair for me. And I want her to have a long neck because I like my ladies with a long neck. And then just a hint of her shoulders in here is adequate. And then I want just a little heart down here for the desires of her heart. And my sketch is really that simple. I don't see a whole lot of the top of her head, a little bit. And you can adorn her hair however you would like. So here she is, a little bit closer. You see, I don't have any background on the page today because I have something kind of in mind for the back. And I put out some paints on my teeny little palette here. And what other colors? I'm going to try and make that blush color a little bit nicer for her face. And I've got some white and some buff here. I was going to use buff, and then I decided white is probably a better idea. So I'm going to attempt that color first. And I'm putting just a little bit of that yellow in there just to tone down that blush color. And let's just give that a little test here and see if we like that. Oh, I think that's a great color. It is maybe a little bit orangey. So let's add just a little more white to it. It's easier to add more of that later. Now I'm going to leave I'm just going to put some hints of this around it. I'm going to leave above her eyes light, and I'm just going to pull this down. See, I'm pulling some pencil in there, so it's automatically giving me a shadow. Need a little more water on my brush here. And then the other place that I'm very careful is to not put a whole lot down underneath her nose, because I know there's a shadow there, but I always feel like that makes her nose look like it's dripping. So there you go. Those are my little hints for you. Now I'm actually going to pull out another brush and just blend in some of those. It's a little dry. Blend in some of those areas. Remember, I wanted to keep that a little bit lighter up there. And then I'm going to bring a little bit more of this down underneath her chin. And I'm going to get just a little bit, maybe not pink. She's looking she needs a little color. She needs a little blush on her. So let's put just a little blush on her cheeks. And I want to just blend that in a little bit too. Where is a rag or a paper towel to just... So if you start messing around with it too much, you're going to end up with just a bunch of little lines in there. So in this case, less is more. Now her hair, sorry, I'm gonna pull. And this is actually how I do my art. I just go back and forth until I am satisfied. There. I think that's pretty good. Let me look. She's a little yellow down here. Should Could use a little more white on her chin. And I'm actually going to put some white You can put eyeshadow on her, whatever you would like. Now the fun part for me is doing her hair, because I love orange and red hair. And you can make yours whatever color you desire. That is pretty darn orange at the top, isn't it? Or pretty darn red at the top. And I'm going to pull that over on the top of her head and also put some over here. I like her hair red at the bottom. And oh, let's put her orangey red heart in. And just because that is looking so incredibly warm, I'm going to put in just a little bit of these cool colors over here. And that'll actually highlight her shoulders and where her shoulders come down. Now, while that is drying a little bit, what color should her eyes be? You know, we can take a teeny tiny brush and put a little bit of blue in her pupils right here. And I think I'm even going to just put just a dab above her eyes for her little eyeshadow, just to give them a little more definition there. All right, so that is good. I wonder what color lipstick she would have on. Let's just say pink, because it's sitting right up here. And I'm going to put that on her top lip, and then her bottom lip, I'm actually going to leave a highlight there, a white highlight there. It's kind of fun so far. You know, an outline always makes so much difference. And I pulled out this Distress Oxide because I'm just going to put, and what this means is that it's a little water soluble. It's called Spiced Marmalade by Tim Holtz. And I'm just putting that on here. This is a very warm trying to decide here. This will have a little bit less on it, but that's okay. And then the wonderful thing about this, see how that reacts to water? So I am going to just spritz. I'm going to try not to get water on my lady here. I'm going to just spritz a little. See, I just think that's delightful. And as with so many things in your sketchbook, you kind of have to decide beforehand that you're going to like the way it turns out. Or be happy, I should say be happy with the way it turns out. Because that's something you can't control. You just spray a little water on there, and I'm going to dab off the bigger some of the bigger drips here. All right, so pretty fun. I will rinse that off later. And I wonder if we should put just a little hint of a dress on her. Huh? I don't honestly think you have to. We have so much color in there already. It's a challenge getting enough water on there for that. All right, so I think she as a whole is pretty dry, but I'm gonna just dry her just a little bit with the hair dryer, or with the whatever, hair dryer, heat gun, whatever you have. I have actually a very thin pen here that I'm going to do her eyes in, and try not to get my hand in that, which I don't know how successful I'm going to be at that. Now, again, I want less. And that's good for my smaller size pen. It's a little hard to get it to work on that, on the top of the pencil or whatever. Oh, come on. Maybe with the other pen. All right, and then I'm going to jump to a little bit bigger pen. There, that's good enough. And, you know, the other thing that I didn't do was, you know, your eye is actually, your white part of your eye is actually a little gray. So very carefully, I'm going to pull just some of that pencil. Might want to wait and actually do that with pencil. I'm just trying to get my little pen to smear a little bit, and I'm a little concerned with doing it too much. So, you know, that hair is the most fun thing. Here again, she could actually have just a teeny bit of a shadow back there. So rather than making it a dark color, I'm going to pull out my fuchsia and just put ever so slightly a bit of shadow behind there. And under her hair on the top. You don't want too much fuchsia because you don't want it to look like she just got beat up. All these things, huh? And I think I'll add just a little bit there too. It's the little things that just really help, I have found, in the sketching. And I will probably take a little more time to splatter, but here she is, delighting herself in the Lord, looking up. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you tomorrow morning for our last morning, and God bless and toodles.